Hello and welcome to CTV News Across Canada for Thursday, March the 27th. We've got top local stories from coast to coast, stories that affect you and our country. Thanks for joining us.
We begin tonight with breaking news. Late this afternoon, Donald Trump announcing sweeping tariffs on all cars not made in the United States. It's the latest move in a widening global trade war, damaging the once close relationship between the U.S. and Canada and hitting hard for numerous American trade partners. CTV's Matt Scooby has been following this, joins us now live. Matt.
Well, Patricia, the U.S. president didn't speak until about half an hour ago. Initially, he was going to talk around 4 o'clock, but he did lay out what could be another devastating blow to the Canadian and global economies, a 25% tariff on any vehicle made outside of the United States. Now, Mexico, Japan, and Canada make up the top 3 countries that export vehicles to the U.S. In 2024, more than $28 billion worth of cars was imported into the U.S. from Canada. Now, auto industry experts have warned a move like this will drive up prices almost instantly for vehicles and also stymie production.
We're going to charge countries for doing business in our country and taking our jobs, taking our wealth, taking a lot of things that they've been taking over the years. They've taken so much out of our country, friend and foe, and frankly, friend has been oftentimes much worse than foe. And this is very modest. And what we're going to be doing is a 25% tariff on all cars that are not made in the United States. If they're made in the United States, there's absolutely no tariff.
Now, Trump did also clarify that despite the announcement happening today, the new auto tariffs will not kick in until April 2nd. That's next week. It's also the date the U.S. administration is set to unveil wider-reaching reciprocal tariffs. Now, Premier Doug Ford just spoke in reaction to the new tariffs. In fact, he's speaking to the media right now, reiterating the fact that the tariffs are going to cause the price of cars to skyrocket. He also says factories and assembly lines on both sides of the border could shut down within a matter of days of the tariffs coming into effect. He has promised retribution, but we do not know what that will look like from the province of Ontario yet. We are keeping a close eye on this situation, and today one federal leader made a campaign promise for the auto industry. We're going to have more on that coming up in just a few minutes. Patricia.
Your daughter deserved to be named, and we offer our condolences.
Skibicki was convicted last year in the deaths of Rebecca Contois, Morgan Harris, Mercedes Myron, and an unidentified victim given the name Mashkure Bijeki Ekwi, or Buffalo Woman. Her true identity was unknown until now.
We were able to confirm the identity of Buffalo Woman as that of Ashley Christine Shingus.
Police say investigators interviewed Skibicki behind bars, identifying a new piece of clothing from his apartment that belonged to Buffalo Woman. It was sent for DNA testing, which confirmed the identity. Shingus has been missing since she was last seen in downtown Winnipeg in March 2022, and now police believe her remains are somewhere in the Brady landfill.
I promise you that we are going to search the Brady landfill for your daughter.
That commitment to search was echoed by the Winnipeg Police and the City of Winnipeg.
We will make every effort to bring her home.
This news has left Ashley's home community of St. Teresa Point heartbroken.
But at the same time, we welcome the news that there is a light at the end.
Chief Raymond Flett shared this statement from Ashley's mother.
I need to bring her home. I need that closure. It's been too long. Enough. Search the landfill as soon as possible. I know it'll take time.
Now, at the moment, we don't know when or how this search will take place. The Premier says these answers will take time to sort out.
Dan, do police have any idea where to focus this search?
Yeah, police believe Ashley Shingus's remains are in the same cell where Rebecca Contois' remains were found, and they say that cell has been shut down since that initial discovery.
All right, thanks for this, Stanton.
BC has some of the highest gas prices in the country, so people are hoping to see savings now that the consumer carbon tax is being scrapped.
For a lot of British Columbians who are feeling the pinch from cost of living right now, that represents real savings that'll go towards things like putting groceries on the table and saving up for a rainy day.
Prices are hovering around $188.9 a liter here at the Chevron gas station in Surrey, a steady increase from the past few weeks. The elimination of the tax should bring down the cost by about 17 cents per litre.
What that would save for most families using $50 liters a week, probably $7, $8 a week, and that will probably last for 4 or 5 weeks.
The removal leaves a $1.5 billion hole in the provincial budget, so there are concerns about where that money is going to come from.
You may get a 5 or 6 week reprieve. After that, I would expect fully the commitment is not to get rid of the carbon taxes, but to actually change the name, and that will mean consumers are going to have to pay this price.
Cutting the carbon tax also brings about the end of the Climate Action Tax Credit, which currently provides just over $1,000 a year to a low-income family of 4.
Many families are going to be left worse off. They're going to have less cash in their pocket with the elimination of the rebate, offset, in part by some lower prices at the pump.
The end of the carbon tax bringing more questions than answers. FortisBC refused an interview request, telling CTV News the company will work with the province to see how to implement the change. Adding, for the average customer, the tax accounts for approximately $29.89 on their average monthly bill. This, says British Columbians, grapple with the uncertainty of what will happen April 1st. Yasmin Gantam, CTV News, Surrey.
A concerned crowd gathers from across the street, where on the ground lays a pink backpack. The front of the black Honda next to it has smashed into a tree.
When I saw this backpack, you can't imagine what the parents of the kid are going through.
The crash happened shortly before 10 in the morning at Brimwood Boulevard and Bridley Drive in Scarborough. A 15-year-old girl walking was struck and killed.
Our heart goes out to the family of the victim and our condolences.
Toronto police say the Honda was going east when it made a left turn at the intersection, and the girl was crossing in the crosswalk when she was hit.
My first thought was, how fast were they going?
There are 4 schools nearby, 2 of them high schools. People living and working in the area say drivers are often going too fast. The traffic, a problem for years.
Where do I start? So that crosswalk, kids are almost run over it all the time. It's a daily issue for the school.
I pick up my kids from the school, and I cross the road, and then I have a car almost hit us.
As word spread of the tragedy, some students made their way over to the scene, worried the girl is someone from their school.
It's so sad about that a 15-year-old just died.
City Councillor Jamal Myers extended his deepest condolences, saying in a statement, "This is heartbreaking and a painful reminder that we must prioritize road safety." Police say they're investigating all aspects of the collision, and the 44-year-old woman who was driving the Honda is cooperating. There is also an elementary school at this intersection. The speed limit here on Brimwood is 40 kilometers an hour, and on Bridley, it's 30 kilometers an hour. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Beth.
It's not really how I expected my Wednesday to start.
Jordan Mundell is going through what's left of her car, one of 2 vehicles that was hit by this silver sedan around 9 this morning.
I was getting ready to go to work and I heard a huge bang that jolted me out of bed, and I basically came down to my roommate's car in the front lawn, my car totaled, and a car on its side, and a guy trying to kick his way out of the windshield.
Guelph police say the driver, a 39-year-old Kitchener man, was speeding down Gosling Gardens when he lost control.
I went off the road and collided with 2 parked vehicles in a driveway, and then flipped over, hit a tree, and obviously came to rest on its side.
Police say witnesses saw the man run out of the silver sedan and over a few neighboring fences before he was found by canine dogs in a nearby backyard.
There was evidence at the scene that he was likely injured.
The man was arrested and taken to a Hamilton hospital where he was treated for minor injuries. Police say the vehicle was reported stolen from Waterloo Region earlier in the morning. The crash leaving the neighborhood in shock.
I cannot get over this. I live right down the street, and this is shocking seeing this.
This is the safe part of Guelph. Normally stuff doesn't happen.
Despite what happened only 4 days after moving in, Mundell says she still believes the area is safe.
A bit of a bonding moment for the neighborhood, seeing as we didn't really know anybody, but now I guess we can kind of be known as the house where The 2 cars got totaled in the driveway.
Now, Guelph police couldn't say which charges the 39-year-old is facing, but say possession of stolen property and dangerous driving are likely among them. They expect to share more details tomorrow. Tony?
All right, Alexandra, appreciate those details. CTV's Alexandra Hollick reporting live for us tonight.
Jade Chapman says her pain started about 2 years ago. The Calgarian now needs a walker to get around as she waits for a hip replacement.
To swing my legs off the bed and put them on the floor brings so much pain that I sometimes cry.
She was a fitness instructor and active swimmer. Now she's one of the thousands of Albertans awaiting a procedure. She's near the finish line, but it took a long time to get here.
I'm getting the surgery next week. And it's been just short of 15 months.
And a new report from the nonpartisan Parkland Institute, based at the University of Alberta, shows the province's surgical situation is getting worse. Since 2019, the cost the government pays to for-profit groups has skyrocketed by 79% to nearly $56 million annually.
Surgical outsourcing to for-profit facilities is destabilizing public hospitals in Alberta.
The province launched its Alberta Surgical Initiative 6 years ago. The plan sees public health dollars go to private surgical groups to boost the number of procedures being done. But since 2019, median wait times have jumped, including waits for lung cancer surgery up nearly 50% and knee replacements up 30%.
The provincial government is most actively pursuing greater for-profit surgical outsourcing. And, you know, the numbers don't lie. They tell us that things are getting worse.
The government disputes the report. Health Minister Adriana LaGrange did not answer questions from journalists Wednesday, but a statement from her office says the use of chartered surgical facilities has played a key role in reducing wait times and improving patient care. For the 2024-25 fiscal year, we are targeting a record number of 310,000 surgeries, up from 304,595 surgeries completed in the previous fiscal year. In fact, 2023-24 represents the highest volume in 5 years.
We'll start here today.
The NDP opposition is putting the provincial budget through the shredder. The opposition says tariffs and the opening of Russian potash and grain to world markets has made the Saskatchewan budget unreliable.
And now opening up market access that will actually fund Putin's war machine and certainly will have an impact on Saskatchewan's industries and workers, as well as our budget.
The Saskatchewan potash industry believes it can weather the storm over the short term. It says Russia is currently selling all the potash it can produce, and Russian grain supplies are tight. Nutrien says, we do not expect the announced agreements will have a material impact on global supplies of fertilizer or grain in 2025. The situation was debated in the legislature.
Donald Trump's decision to normalize trade with Russia is disgrace, but it is a move that industry could see coming even if this government couldn't. This matters for Ukraine and it matters for Saskatchewan.
We are confident in our volume and price forecasts in the recent budget, which are based on fundamental global supply and demand analysis that includes expected production from Russia.
The NDP believe the government should have set aside $500 million to deal with the impact of tariffs, along with the entry of Russian potash and grain on world markets. The government has said it will allocate what's required once impacts are fully known. Wayne Mantica, CTV News, Regina.
MGM's got all the sports betting in one place.
That place could soon be Alberta, as the province looks to open up online sports betting to private companies.
We know that unregulated sites may not provide protections for their players in terms of social responsibility or consumer protection, and we want to change that.
Currently, Play Alberta is the only legal online gambling option in the province. Yet the minister estimates more than half of gamblers bet through unregulated private companies. Nally calls this a gray market, one that Alberta wants a slice of.
We are losing out on revenue being generated by unregulated operators.
Last year, Play Alberta generated $235 million in sales. Compare that with Ontario, which opened up online gambling to private companies 3 years ago. It saw sales of $2.2 billion in 2023-24. The minister isn't saying specifically how that new revenue will be spent.
In terms of dollars and cents and how much we'll be investing, I can't answer those questions now.
Revenues do need to address any harms that are caused by gambling, and part of that is to understand what those harms are.
This addictions expert supports the province's self-exclusion system, allowing gamblers to opt out of bets, but says additional safeguards are needed.
Having people pre-commit to how much they're willing to spend gambling.
This is not a direction that we would have recommended. We have seen some problems in Ontario's market.
Program Director Renza Nauta points out Ontario players are spending $283 a month on bets on average, and says the number of gamblers in that province is rising.
The number of active player accounts has almost tripled since the opening of this market.
Nauta wants in-game betting removed and to see advertising for online sports betting banned, something the province acknowledges it can't do.
We can't stop that. I wish the federal government would step in.
Albertans can expect to legally bet online through private companies starting late 2025, early 2026. Shailan Skolsky, CTV News, Edmonton.
St. Vincent Nursing Home knows just how fast norovirus can spread after an outbreak struck their facility this past weekend.
Total number of residents that have been affected so far is 62, which is a significant number. And we're kind of we believe on the downswing now, so hopefully things are going to get better over the next probably week.
The home has 146 residents. Currently, 33 of them have active symptoms. For them, that means they're in isolation.
We do have closed off all of our recreation activities. Our dining rooms are closed. And of course, staff are masking, glove, gowns, all the usual IPAC precautions.
The care facility is still open for family visits. Health officials say during respiratory season, most activity is in long-term care homes.
This year has been very busy for the number of outbreaks we've had. It has increased significantly over the past several weeks. That tends to mimic what we're seeing in the community at the same time.
It's not just norovirus. This continuing care center in Eastern Passage is closed to the public after an influenza outbreak. We are collaborating closely with public health authorities and our dedicated staff to prevent the spread of the virus and ensure the health and safety of our residents. As a precaution, we are temporarily closed to the public until the outbreak is officially declared over by public health.
As soon as the first resident tests positive for COVID, RSV, or influenza, right away, a nursing home goes into these protocol practices.
Peak season for influenza is typically in January, but this year it's March.
The biggest agent this year that's causing a lot of headaches for the healthcare system is actually the influenza virus or flu right now. COVID activity is quite low.
Health officials say they are seeing a lot of sick people in long-term care facilities and hospitals right now, but cases should drop once the warmer weather comes.
Demolition crews showed up this week to demolish the building at the Carey and Queen Mary, and it's not pleasant for people living around here.
Basically, it is the noise and also the particles that spreads in the air. People are breathing it.
This is the building that housed the once popular U-Disco hobby shop and the Mr. Fix-It repair store. But the building was expropriated in 2020, so the STM could build an underground maintenance center. Except the delays left the building abandoned, much to the dismay of its former occupants and neighbors.
And it all came crashing down summer of 2020. It was a terribly unhealthy environment inside those buildings that had been closed for 5 years.
Roderick Rodney, who owns a barber shop next door, says the borough's negligence towards the abandoned building had a domino effect on the entire sector.
I mean, it's been a while now since this particular part of stretch I've seen quite a few, ups and downs.
Once the demolition of the building is finished, the STM will go ahead and build its underground facility. But the borough will also create a park on top of it, which the citizens say could actually improve their quality of life. We contacted the borough regarding the state of the neighborhood. It deferred all questions to the STM. But upon learning they'd get a park, locals say, it at least gives them something to look forward to.
They're just going to do a park, a green space, which is going to be great.
Well, I mean, anything that, they provide, as long as it's good for the citizens, I think that is what we all expect,
The timeline for the future of the sector, however, remains undetermined. Stéphane Giroux, CTV News.
During a virtual Collingwood court appearance, the court heard Haley Roberts, the woman accused of posing as a qualified nurse while working in long-term care homes for 4 years, could soon be resolving her criminal charges. Court documents obtained by CTV News now reveal Roberts was recently charged by provincial police with assault with a weapon, fraud, falsifying a police record check, and impersonating a nurse for financial gain between May 2021 and September of 2022. The newly obtained court records reveal Roberts is alleged to have worked for Gifted Hands Health Services in Pickering. She's charged with assault stemming from allegations that she injected an elderly Midland woman in 2022. These latest charges are similar to the 19 other counts laid against Roberts last year. Police allege the 34-year-old Tiny Township woman falsified employment documents, certificates, and record checks to illegally work as a nurse at long-term care homes, despite being unregistered and unqualified to do so. The homes were located in Midland, Elmvale, and Stayner. It's alleged Roberts used needles to inject other patients with vaccines and medications. It remains unclear if some or all of the charges will be resolving.
I'm still shocked.
Several people came forward to CTV News alleging they've been scammed by Roberts dating back several years.
Even went as far as to find an ultrasound picture on Google and send it to my ex-wife.
At least 2 men told CTV News Roberts pretended to be pregnant and forged their signatures before stealing thousands of dollars from their bank accounts.
All these documents.
A former buried landlord told CTV News Roberts moved into a rental property and illegally squatted in the home for a year, starting in 2019. The Landlord-Tenant Board in Small Claims Court ruled in the landlord's favor, awarding her about $62,000. She said Roberts hadn't paid her a penny. Roberts is represented by Barrie defense lawyer Mitch Eisen. Roberts' matters are scheduled to return to a Collingwood virtual courtroom in April. The allegations against her have not been tested in court. Mike Arsleedy, CTV News, Collingwood.
Possibly the final meeting of the London Transit Commission, with just 4 members and 3 empty seats, after several resignations over the weekend, including accessibility representative Jacqueline Madden.
I have certainly never felt welcome, nor have I felt I have been treated as a peer.
On Tuesday night, a council committee considered dissolving the commission and appointing an interim board of 5 councillors to address a number of issues, including accessibility, ridership experience, expanding routes, increasing frequency, and responding to council direction.
We have a governance crisis with this board, and we are responsible for dealing with it.
We are making this decision of potentially dissolving this commission with no clear vision to the future.
But the committee voted 9-6 to recommend replacing the commission.
Obviously, it's very disappointing.
LTC Chair Stephanie Marentet stands behind her proposal to have councillors fill the 3 vacancies on the current commission, thereby retaining existing knowledge and giving council a voting majority.
So there's certainly going to be significantly more oversight and control, but at the same time, it keeps the institutional knowledge and also the voices of customers.
Following Tuesday night's meeting here at City Hall, the Deputy Mayor emphasized that appointing 5 members of council to oversee London Transit would be an interim step.
A governance and operation audit is still underway. That will provide a long-term resolution to how we look at what the permanent governance model will be.
That audit's not going to be completed until November 2026. So what are you doing between now and then, I think is the big question here.
A final decision on the future of the LTC and potentially who would sit on an interim board will be made by council on April 1st. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.